Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sonia Kaur Bansal. Welcome to Gyanvihar School of Education, and today we are going to study the topic recent trends in research in the subject methodology of educational research. So students, as the time is changing, so there are many changes in the field of education, in the field of educational research also. So today's topic is all about it, and my learning objective for today's topic are related to understanding the recent trends in educational research. And I hope you will be understanding it in a very appreciable way about the recent trends in educational research and how it should be in coming ways. So let's understand it in a very elaborated manner, and I hope you will understand it. So students, a quality teacher education program is a rational and streamlined to address specific pedagogical issues. You are studying in teacher education program. Those who are doing B.Ed and M.Ed, they are in teacher education program, and it is very well understood that some pedagogical issues or some subject related issues are handled in teacher education program. Particular training is given in that particular teaching subject, and if you are in PG level like M.Ed, then you are trained for guiding those student teachers. So it elucidates the ideas about what constitutes good teaching and the content and scope of coursework and practical experiences. So more and more it is related to practical experiences now. It is now not only now based on theoretical assumptions. Now the time has changed, and everything is actually seen in the form of practical experiences. If your teaching style, if your methods, if your learning style is giving you a good experience and basically practical experience, then it would be considered of a good quality. Okay, so teacher education courses are very much connected to practice as well as theory, because without exhibiting your talents in practical form, we cannot say that you are a trained teacher or trained teacher educator. So practicality is very, very important when we are talking about teacher education program. So high quality teacher training programs have students studying to be teachers, pre-service teachers, and working continuously with expert master teachers. So they are getting training for that. So teacher education program focus to build teacher proficiency and competence, because it is giving you the training for a particular duration. Maybe it is of 1 year, but nowadays it is of 2 years. Teacher training program is of 2 years. So candidates are able to face new challenges in the educating students. So this challenge is really very demanding, and you all are very much aware of it, that nowadays teaching profession is very demanding, and teachers have to put an extra effort on their day-to-day teaching task. Teachers must be able to create understanding with investigative minds, assimilating the required transformation and accommodating and responding to universal needs. So this is the baseline, students, that whenever we are training the prospective teachers, or whenever we are talking about training the teacher educators like you, so we have to keep in mind that what are the global needs, what are the universal needs, and on the basis of that only we are going to actually accommodate, and we are going to teach our students, train our students in that way only. All right, so the purpose of this class is to discuss significant changes that have occurred in teacher education in India, and also provide how these national trends relate to global trends, reform and innovation in teacher education. So the need for teacher education program to be innovative and encompass various approaches and practices is also discussed. So students, it is recognized that teacher education program should be structured and modified in that way so that student teacher candidates learn to respond dynamically to new problems and challenges in the field of education. And we all know that during this pandemic period, the teachers are coping up with new challenges, or they have gone through a lot of stress and problems during online teaching, or just removing the traditional pattern of teaching, offline teaching. So this was a little difficult task for some of the teachers to come up with a new platform, but these are the challenges that they are facing dynamically. So nowadays the teacher education program is also dealing with that. So in whatever is happening today, maybe it is less challenging, and in coming years when you will be at my place, so you will be facing more and more challenges. So this is something that everyday challenges must be coped up in a very good spirit, dynamic spirit, that teacher is dealing with the problems, and in the field of education he or she is striving for the best for the students. So with this knowledge and skills and doing good for the students, future teachers can lead and guide the development of the country. Now, improving teacher skill by doing research. How can we improve the teacher skill? By doing more and more research. So let's have a look on that. Let's discuss about it. Now, students, teaching has become very, very challenging nowadays, and it has come a long way from the traditional lecturer-listener system. Traditionally or anciently, there was a system which was called teacher-centered system in education, and in that only teacher was whole and soul, and which was relatively very much famous in Gurukul system. So teacher was whole and soul. Whatever the teacher had spoken, the students were not supposed to do any objection, and they were actually abiding by the truth that the teacher is saying. Whatever the teacher is saying is ultimate truth. So, but now teaching profession has come a long way from the traditional system, and today the teachers are not just lecturers, but they are guides, and the students are not just listeners but co-explorers of knowledge. It is not like that the students are not doing anything. It is not like that they are sitting in passive mode. So it just, the scenario is changed, students. Nowadays you also work very hard as a student. I will not just deny that, and teachers also do work very hard. So education has become more interactive and experiential for both parties. So thus teaching skills have also evolved with more techniques available for teachers to use. Fortunately, there is one method, students, that help a teacher see the aspects of his or her teaching that need improvement, and that method is research, and particularly classroom action research. I repeat, classroom action research is also called CAR. CAR, classroom action research, CAR. In its broadest sense, research is itself very helpful when a teacher is trying to introduce concepts to the students. So it is believed that whatever is the situation, the teacher must have a very good aptitude for the new researches. So when there is a CAR method or classroom research action research method is applied by any teacher, then definitely the introducing of new concepts to the students will be becoming more and more easier. So teachers who do their own research on the topics they teach, whatever I'm going to teach, I have to research on that. So instead of depending on textbooks, can gain a much better understanding of those topics and how their students interact with the topics. when you will be going with a topic in your own class, then just research a lot about it. Don't go with a single handed in your class and just empty handed in your class that I'm having just a topic's name in my mind and nothing else. It doesn't happen in a very nice way. So students should just remember that as a result, if you research on everything when you are going to teach, so they can be more effective in sharing the knowledge with the students. So if it is effective in sharing the knowledge with the students, then ultimate result will be enabling your students to making more aware about a particular concept. So CAR or classroom action research is more specific than basic research. Basic research is something else, and the CAR is more specific in a particular topic. And it is more concerned with the teaching process itself than with the topics, whatever you have taught. So briefly, CAR is a form of practitioner research that investigates the current situation of a class. We can also call it action research. So it is CAR, classroom action research. So whatever the day-to-day problems you face in the classroom, you can do some action research on that and you can draw very good conclusions, and the findings will be applied to your situation, which can be solved in a very effective way. So the practitioner or the teacher is the one students who conducts this active research on what his or her class truly needs. So since CAR is practitioner research done by one teacher or for a particular class, it may produce unique results that can be generalized to other classrooms. So classroom action research is truly helpful for teachers to find out what the students need. But more importantly, it is a tool for them to identify what they themselves need to improve in their instruction. This identification is the first step towards better teaching students. Identify the problem, and consequently better quality education. If you are successful in identifying your problem, then it is really it would be good idea to enhance the quality education among your students. So identifying their problems is a must, and it is really a good tool in the hands of teachers when the teacher is proceeding for the CAR or classroom action research. We cannot resist ourselves, students, from talking e-learning nowadays. Information technology has long passed on, and knowledge of it is now considered almost a basic necessity. So it is no wonder, students, that schools have begun using computers during classes, whether for basic tasks such as student report presentations or even for crucial activities such as exams. Everywhere it is e-learning. So electronic quizzes are hardly new day. It is not new to you, so you are all well versed in solving the electronic e-quizzes through computers or your phone. To complement the use of computers, various types of softwares are available. The most basic ones are the word processors, spreadsheet creators, and presentation programs. So this is all related to e-learning. Then there are most specified ones such as attendance trackers, educational games, and graphic organizers. These are really very, very helpful for the teachers. With computers, the use of the internet predictably follows, and with the classroom innovation comes an endless world of possibilities. So notes can also be recorded, uploaded, and shared. So it's really a type of boon for the students as well as teachers, that they are storing their records, they are uploading their records and sharing them in a very smooth way. So e-learning is somehow very, very helpful for the students also. More communication channels are opened up than ever before. So some classes even utilize social network for communication, as evident in online groups and forums. So there are also more substantial school activities done over the internet. Online you can do many activities, and you can just enjoy for the entertainment purpose also. So for instance, absentee teachers may create online tutorials. If I'm not going to campus, I may create online tutorials for students, so that students will not have miss a learning session. So this is the utility of e-learning. So some major projects also require the use of online journals, blogs for documentation, and the like. There are those who experiment with the creation and maintenance of website for the exclusive use of the class. In the end, this is the goal of every bit of educational evaluation, students. So a journey towards the best quality of education is possible for the younger generation through e-learning. So this is the importance of e-learning that we all know about it. Now let's understand something about collaborative learning. And what is collaborative learning? Just understand it first, that it is a system in which two or more people cooperate in a learning experience to share as well as contribute each member's understanding of a topic and to complete a given task. So collaborative learning is a system actually which has to be followed when you want to share each other's understanding about a topic and you are completing a particular task. Okay, so this is called collaborative learning, and sharing information and connecting with others, whether we know them personally or not, has proven to be a powerful tool in education. So just remember, students, that it is very important learning and very useful learning. When you learn something in collaboration, you learn very effectively. So students are collaborating with each other through social media to learn more about specific subjects, to test out ideas and theories, to learn facts, and to gauge each other's opinions. So collaboration is a natural part of life, students, so should be included in the curriculum as well. We cannot survive without collaborating with each other. If anyone says that I can live alone and I can learn alone, then it would not be a truth. So collaborative learning is enhanced in recent trends of learning and doing research. Sometimes teacher will build a lesson design specifically to teach collaborative learning and teamwork. So there are many team building games and activities that can be done in a classroom that force students to work together to complete a task. When such task is given by the teacher to the students, then in the beginning or initial stage, the students feel little force. That teacher is forcing them to complete a particular task with collaboration. But in this scenario, student can learn just as much as if they were developing a presentation on their own, but they get the added benefits also of learning how to collaborate. So collaborative learning is on the rise in our classrooms. If it is done correctly, it is really a very good opportunity and great opportunities to break up the monopoly of the lecture in the classroom that is given by the teacher. So teach teamwork to our students and help them to become more productive members of society in the future. So this was about collaborative learning. Now let's talk about constructivist learning theory. Constructivist learning theory is a philosophy, students, which enhances students' logical and conceptual growth. So the role of teacher is very important with the constructivist learning theory. Instead of giving a lecture, the teachers function as facilitators whose role is to aid the students to develop their own understanding. So constructivist learning theory is, first of all, understand that this is a philosophy. And second thing, it enhances students' logical and conceptual growth. Now we are talking about the role of the teacher. Okay, so the role of the teacher is one of the very importance. So when giving knowledge to your students, instead of just lecturing, So teacher's role is to become a facilitator whose role is to aid the students to develop their own understanding about the particular concept. Okay, and this takes the focus away from the teacher and lecture and puts it upon the students and their learning. So this is really very helpful in developing students' conceptual growth and logical growth. So the resources and lesson plans that must be initiated for this learning theory take a very different approach from the traditional learning as well. So students, teachers following Piaget's work in constructivism must challenge the students by making them effective critical thinkers and must not merely be a teacher, but also a mentor, a consultant, and a coach. So overall, just understand, when we are trying to use constructivism theory in our classrooms, and your objective must be to make your students effective critical thinkers. They should give thoughts on particular concepts. They just not be like learners only. So it is also to make them mentors, consultant, and a coach. Now students, let's talk. We have discussed in constructivism type of skill, but we have seen that it enhances the logical and conceptual growth among the students, and of course critical thinking. But how can we improve the critical thinking skills? Let's discuss that. So critical thinking is a paramount to the development of students and should be the goal of all the teachers, no matter what subject they teach. So in my subject, if I'm not enabling my students to think over something that is really very important in a critical way, then my teaching will be less effective. So whatever the subject you are going to teach, you must paramount to the development of the students. You must think about the development of the student's brain and thought process. So teachers should consider building critical thinking skills in all the rubrics and lesson plans they use in their classrooms. So whatever the question, whatever the evaluation system is going on in the classroom, the thought provoking should also be there. There should not be direct questioning or something that you have just told them and they are answering. It will not enable their critical thinking. You just make them understand, first of all, about the concept and then ask the question in that way that it does their brainstorming. So critical thinking skills can be taught in any classrooms and any subject with a little creativity from the side of teachers. So it is must, and it is really very challenging nowadays, students, to develop the critical thinking among your students, because it will only lead to the successful completion of your subject's objectives, what it is decided earlier. Now, there are some ways, students, to incorporate critical thinking into teaching, and it includes such as, first of all, deep analysis. Now, we are talking about the ways, different ways to incorporate critical thinking in your teaching. So first of all, we have taken the point that is deep analysis, and this is like taking something that students see often and take for granted and have them analyze it more deeply. For example, if a class recites the Pledge of Allegiance and every morning, or maybe the class is singing a prayer every day in the morning, one day have them spend some time answering some questions about what it means and why do they do it every day. So deep analysis of everything is required from the part of students, and it will be only happening if you are asking some questions from them. If you are just throwing some light why we are doing it. For example, the national anthem is sung in the schools maybe every morning in the assembly period, but why it is sung? Just do that brainstorming in among your students. Okay, so second way, that is evaluation. Now it demands that you just give a concept to the students and ask them to evaluate its merit, giving supporting reasons. why they think it is good or bad. For example, that we all know about online teaching. Right now, you are also studying from online mode. So, why the online teaching is good and why it is bad? If you think it is good, give your supportive reasons. If you think it is good, give your supportive reasons. So this type of questioning or evaluation system is actually needed from your students to enhance their critical thinking. So this makes students to think beyond what someone has told them or what they feel, and into the realm of the logic of an argument. So this can even be done in a group if it is too difficult for the students to come up with several reasons on their own. All right, students, so deep analysis and evaluation, and after then we have to give another important way, that is synthesis. Synthesis is something you are adding up. Okay, so it demands that you give 2 or more articles to students. You just you can give 2 or more articles on a particular topic, and then you just ask them to put the information together in a summary form. Students demonstrate that they truly comprehend the material in an article instead of simply memorizing it. So this is the way how they will be critically thinking on those 2 topics which you have given, and they will be synthesizing the idea, what they truly have understood about that. Okay, so this is another idea which can enable your students to enhance their critical thinking. The fourth point, or the fourth way, is debate. Yes, debate is a wonderful way to enhance the critical thinking among the students. So give a topic to your students, something as non-controversial as possible to start, and have one group of students debate one side of the argument and another debate the opposite. So make sure that there are some strict guidelines in order to avoid degradation of the debate into heated argument. It should not convert into heated argument. So these types of activities can be used in any classrooms for any subject, and if used correctly, can result in a higher level of thinking for students, a lofty and worthy goal for any teacher. So these are some ways that you can enhance the critical thinking among your students. Now, the next way is to paraphrase. Paraphrase means like it demands something that you are giving a passage of a book or article to your students. Now, you being a teacher, you ask them to explain it in their own words. This is similar to synthesis in that students must demonstrate understanding of the passage rather than memorizing it. So paraphrasing is definitely enabling our students to just think in a critical way and understand the concept or demonstrate their understanding in a very good way. They're not memorizing or just cramming it. They are understanding, and only then they are doing the paraphrasing. So paraphrasing is a good way to understand what is all about critically thought should be given to the students. Now, students, let's have a concept of global education. We cannot deny the need of global education in today's scenario, when every time that child is actually not in his or her shell only. So global education aims to raise children and to give them a boost, putting them on an even footing despite their unprivileged backgrounds. So whatever the education is being provided to the students, students must think it in a global way. We have a concept of global society. We are not only thinking about our own family, own district, own city, own state, own nation, but we must think about internationally platform. So that includes global platform. So global education can also be founded on international affairs, as the name would suggest. Students who experience this concept in curriculum are more curious about life it is experienced and about the various intricacies which are associated with it. So once the life is understood in a global perspective, it is actually much more easy to live because everything is given a broader thought. Okay, so global education is must nowadays for students to understand. So students who are educated with a global focus think about how their actions and their lives have an impact on the world in a far larger scale than they might have imagined beforehand. How their actions, how their studies will help their lives. Now the smart children are understanding it. So they must be taught from the point of view of global education. It is a different way of thinking students for young people, which they can use in their everyday lives as they make sense of the different challenges which are faced in the world. Now, next is multicultural education. Yes, these are the recent things that must be adopted in teaching the students. Multicultural education is needed nowadays, as some teachers find it really difficult to relate the curriculum to the children they teach. So, education should be given in such a way that it should be crossing all the cultures. It is not avoiding any culture. So this might be because an educator in the city is far more likely to teach a greater number of children who are far from a multicultural background. And just believe me, students, if you are focusing multicultural education, so this is believed by experts that this type of education is always progressive. It shows you the way to grow more and more, and it really prevents young people from being made the victim of assumptions what their previous generations must have shifted in them. So multicultural approach should be adopted in education. Now, we are going to talk about trends in educational research, which is very important for all of us to understand. Now, in this, we have 5 type of trends. Basically, mainly, we are going to study today. So, it is about team teaching, individualized instruction, mixed stage teaching, brain-based teaching, and the 5th, very important, critical thinking skills. Students, these are the important trends which are actually in which we call in fashion in educational research. Because being educationist, we cannot separate ourselves from rest of the society. If I'm an academician, I'm an educationist, then I have to think about the society. I have to think about the children. And I have to think about the global scenario, multicultural approach, which we have just discussed now. So these are making the recent trends in educational research. So first of all, there is team teaching. Let's understand about it. What is team teaching? And this is the recent trend in educational research also. So in team teaching, as its name suggests, students, there is not only one single teacher, but there are many teachers or group of teachers, maybe 2 teachers. So it is something like that when we are talking in classroom situations. So putting 2 instructors or teachers in one classroom is known as team teaching. Collaborative team teaching or co-teaching. Yes, it is known by different names as collaborative team teaching, co-teaching, or team teaching. And in that process, 2 or more instructors are put in one classroom. And this model of teaching, of collaborative team teaching, provides very good benefits and present challenges to both teachers as well as students. Students in co-teaching classroom observe teamwork in action, how the teachers are teaching in teamwork, and learn to see concepts from more than one perspectives. Just imagine your own micro teaching skills are taught to you by different lecturers. So this was the task of team teaching. So then they have the chance to learn from their teachers with diverse backgrounds and can delve deeper into subjects thanks to the opportunity for more one-on-one instructional opportunity. Students learn more in team teaching. It is actually proved by the researchers also. So, however, conflicting personalities and the tendencies of students to favor one teacher over the other can threaten the stability of this model. But team teaching is really a wonderful concept. If the teachers are teaching from it, then really they are following the recent trends of educational research. Now, next we are going to talk about individualized instructions. So, what is individualized instruction? How we are going to define it? So it is a great deal of research, and research is being done on how diversification of instruction to meet the unique needs of students may help them to better grasp core subjects. So this type of instruction moves away from the traditional lecture model of teaching and offers students a way to learn at their own pace. Yes, each student has different capacity of learning, different speed of learning. So we cannot say that once you are giving instruction in your classroom, it is sufficient or it is more than enough for all the students. Maybe some of your slow learners or medium learners are facing some problems in your core subjects. So in that case, individualized instruction or personal attention, when given to the students, they learn more effectively. All right. So this type of instruction is actually moves away from the traditional lecture method, because in traditional lecture method, once the teacher has started teaching in the class, the teacher is teaching in a same manner to all the students. And we all know there are basically three types of students in any classroom. Either we are talking about primary, secondary, senior secondary, college or university level. There are always three types of categories in any classroom, such as high IQ students, average IQ students or low IQ students. So students just understand that individualized instruction form or this type of trend is actually very much in nowadays, where slow learners can take the time they need to develop a solid understanding of material and the concept, whatever the teacher is teaching, while more advanced students don't have to wait to move on the next concepts. And in the same way, when the high IQ students are also actually enjoying their learning at their own speed, because what happens once the teacher has explained something, teacher has given the instruction, the high IQ students are now understanding it in a very fast mode, and now they are just sitting or maybe they are waiting for next move of the teacher. So individualized instruction is really very helpful as per the mental level of students learning. So this better addresses individual learning styles and allows teachers to utilize diverse platforms to provide instructions. Okay, students, so I hope you have understood this much. Now let's understand mixed age teaching. Yes, it's a beautiful recent trend in educational researches also, mixed age teaching. So let's understand what it is. So it is like the potential benefits of putting students of different ages together in same classroom are still being researched. It is a matter of research in today's scenario also. In many schools, this have been using this teaching method for years with good results, and it is believed that if you mix the different age people, different age group students with each other, they actually enhance the teaching. Okay, so in a mixed age classroom, younger students learn how to interact with older ones, and benefits from observing their academic abilities. Definitely, if you are looking at your elder ones, you are looking at how you are going to study, how you should be focused in your studies so that you can be at their level. And the elders are also cooperating with younger ones to make them understand. So this is creating a beautiful environment in the classroom, and it is also creating collaboration between age groups, facilitates further development. So achieving advanced competencies at a young age increases confidence. When a child is guiding another child to learn well, so it is surely increasing their confidence. If you are teaching your learned concept to your classmate or the junior one, definitely you can feel the difference in your confidence level. Okay. So teachers also benefit from mixed age classroom in that they are able to track their students through more than one grade to get a clearer picture of academic growth. So this is something that mixed age teaching is a new trend, students, and the teachers must actually think about it. Okay, so I hope you have understood this mixed age teaching concept also. Now next is brain based teaching. So what is brain based teaching? As its name is suggesting, brain based means something is actually based upon neuroscience. So neuroscience researches show that consistent practice of a concept, if the student is doing, creates strong pathways between neurons. If you are doing practice of a particular concept in a continuous manner, then your neurons get active and they get easy path for understanding. So this is called brain-based teaching, students. So it takes advantage of the power of the developing mind to create the greatest amount of positive changes during the short period that students are in the school. So the students are very much interested in learning. When you actually give them brainstorming sort of thing. So this is called brain-based teaching, and students work in groups, participate in games that address specific concepts, and engage in lessons built around central themes, all with the goal of improving their understanding of important academic skills and ideas. So this is students' brain-based teaching, and physical education is included in this to facilitate growth and development of new neural pathways. So just understand, brain-based teaching is actually activating your neurons, and it is related to neuroscience research. All right. And it is developing the child's mind to create the greatest amount of positive changes among whatever the teacher is teaching. Okay. So this is something like that. So critical thinking, although memorization of fundamental facts is critical to building a foundation of knowledge in the early grades, students also need to be able to apply those facts in a multitude of situations. So research into a critical thinking, as I have already explained, that research into critical thinking skills is driving new ways of teaching that include encouraging students to ask questions, develop problem-solving skills by working in groups, and discuss the outcomes of their experiments. So these methods of discovery give students a more active role in their education and teach them how to make decisions by applying the facts they have learned to the problem at hand. So this is all about critical thinking skills. Now, just understand, students, pre-service teachers should be aware of these and other research trends. And all of you are going to become teacher educators. You must also be aware of these recent trends of research trends, as you have to study to become educators, so that they know what is expected of them when they are in the charge of a classroom. So pre-service teachers are encouraged to make what they learn an integral part of their teaching methods, discover what works best for their students, and continue to modify their methods and create the best possible learning environment. So it is really very necessary to create the critical thinking in the classrooms. Now, in conclusion, we can say that there are many research trends that are prevailing in the society, and examination of case studies, literature from around the world lead to 4 broad success factors for the implementation of new approaches to initial teacher education. Okay, students, so just understand, number 1, a clear vision of effective teaching that informs the entire program, provides the basis for prioritization and resource allocation, and ensures that all those involved in supporting pre-service teachers present a coherent message. So just understand, students, if you are understanding more about the recent trends, then it is definitely making your teaching efforts more effective. And whatever the resources you have used, you are using the resources on priority base. So the resources are also not wasted. So just think in that way only when you are handling a classroom. Then secondly, integrating theory and practice. Practice is must. As I have told you, practice is actually giving you practical experiences of teaching theories. So that professional experience in schools is central to the program, and graduates leave for a full toolkit of effective teaching strategies and the capacity to continually review and improve their approaches. And then thirdly, we are talking about highly skilled and well-supported supervising teachers who are accomplished adult educators as well as expert teachers equipped to play the pivotal role they are assigned in these programs. So in conclusion, we can also say sustainable, scalable partnerships that bring the resources and capabilities of all the parties like students, teachers to the table. They engage system to ensure the benefits of successful approaches are spread widely. So in nutshell, we can say, students, that as being teacher, in today's context, we cannot just close our eyes from the concept of e-learning, from the concept of global learning, of multicultural concept, critical thinking. These are very, very important and basic concepts we must include in our teaching. Then we have seen about the recent trends, and recent trends are actually based upon brain-based teaching, individualized instruction, team teaching. So these are some very important concepts in teaching, and they actually lead to instructions also. So we have seen about CAR, that was classroom action research, and it is really very useful from the point of view of a teacher, that when the teacher is teaching in the class continuously, he or she might face day-to-day very relevant problems. And if the problems are persisting for a long time, then how the teacher is going to teach the students efficiently? So it is very important on the part of teacher to solve that problem earlier. And if the teacher is not of research mind, if teacher's aptitude is not related to doing research, why the problem is here? What can be the tentative solutions? Or basically, identifying a problem is the biggest thing. So just have that type of mind or research aptitude among you, and just behave in that global way, global platform, that your students are learning more from you. All right, students, so this was all about this recent trends. Now these are some references that you can go through if you want to study more about recent trends in educational research. You can have a look upon them. Now there are some MCQs related to them, and when you will see my video, just go through them and try to answer them. and these are related to critical thinking concerns. Four options are given here: determining the cause of our beliefs, pinpointing the psychological basis of our beliefs, determining the quality of our beliefs, assessing the practical impact of our beliefs. So, of course, the answer is related to assessing the practical impact of our beliefs. Then next question is about a belief is worth accepting if we have good reasons to accept it, it is consistent with our needs, it has not been proven wrong, it is accepted by our peers. Yes, the correct answer is if we have good reasons to accept it. So the word critical in critical thinking refers to a fault-finding attitude, attempts to win an argument, using careful judgment or judicious evaluations, a lack of respect for other people. So the correct answer is, of course, it is using careful judgment or judicious evaluation. Next question is related to, according to the text, critical thinking complements our prejudices, our emotions, peer pressures, our unconscious desires. So it really complements with our unconscious desires too. So these are the questions, and some more questions are related to critical thinking and research trends. A statement is a question or exclamation, an affirmation of prior beliefs, an assertion that something is on or is not the case, an assertion that is neither true nor false. So the statement is an affirmation of prior beliefs. Statement backed by good reasons are worthy of strong acceptance, to be believed with certainty, never false, beyond all possible doubt. So worthy of strong acceptance is definitely backed by good reasons. So the statements, reasons given in support of another statement are called an argument, the conclusion, the premises, or the complement. So the complement is the answer, or the conclusion is its answer. So statements given in support of another statement. So in support of another statement, that is conclusions, premises, arguments, summaries. So this is called arguments. So this is all about today's class, and these are another two questions. The statement that premises are intended to support is called, and the process of reasoning from a premises or premises to conclusion based on those premises is known as. When you see my video, students, and you just go through these questions and understand them well, how they work, and how we have discussed about recent trends in education and research. That's all about from my side in today's lecture, and I hope you have understood well about what is actually very necessary when we are understanding about recent trends in education. All right, so everyone stay safe and stay healthy. Take care.